At one point, you had a chance to caddy for Babe Ruth?
Yeah, in St. Petersburg, Florida.
How'd that happen?
Well, my father and mother were teaching school in St. Pete. And I was down there, and I was a problem child.
Okay.
I went down to the golf course. I skipped school and got hell for that. But I went down to the golf course and I got a job caddying for Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Bill Dickey, old Cosetti, and so I spent quite a lot of time there in St. Pete.
What were these guys like?
They were staying in the Princess Martha Hotel then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did they? What kind of tippers were they?
What kind of tippers?
Yes.
It was a long time ago. Tips were not thought of too much.
Is that right?
If I went around the course with Ruth and Lou Gehrig, I usually ended up with $2 or $3. Well, Babe Ruth paid for my first airplane ride.
Did he really?
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
Well, where they practiced, where they had their spring training, I don't know if you ever remember the old Ford Trimotor.
Right.
That was an airplane.
Mm-hmm.
And they landed on the golf course, or on the airport right there by the golf course. And they were giving people rides for $1. Well, I stood there, and Ruth said, "Hey, Clef, aren't you going?" I said, "Hell, I ain't going. I ain't got no money." He reached in his pocket and pulled out $1, and he said, "You get over there and get in there." So that's how I got my first airplane ride.
My golly.
Actually, I came back to Brockton.
Okay.
And that's where I was born and raised.
Right.
Well, I ended up I had an uncle that played professional ball for Philadelphia. The owner and manager for the Philadelphia Athletics.
Connie Mack.
Connie Mack, there you go. And Connie Mack, and I spent quite a lot of time with my uncle that he used to pitch for Connie Mack. Eddie Madison. His records are all in clubhouse there in New York State.
Right. Cooperstown. This is in 1976. Jamestown had lost its franchise in 74, and 75, and 76, and then a guy named Farnham gets involved. Mr. Farnham, I'm going to read you a section from a book.
I've got the book that they wrote in Jamestown.
Right. And it says that after the 1976 New York Penn League season, the third consecutive played without Jamestown, Russ Dietrich called Jim Fanning of the Expos and asked him to speak to Cliff Farnham, a man interested in returning professional baseball to the college stadium.
Yeah, I know them all. What did I say to Mr. Fanning?
Right.
Well, I just told him that I wanted to get baseball back into Jamestown.
Right.
And they had just built the golf course, or the ballpark for the college as JCC.
Right.
It just built a new stadium.
Renovated it, right?
And, well, that stadium was better than the one they had for the Buffalo Bisons.
Right.
And so I had quite a visit with him, and we ended up getting the Montreal Expos to put a farm club in Jamestown.
That was in 1977, right?
That's correct.
You were the general manager?
Yeah.
You remember Pat Doherty?
Oh, do I remember Pat Doherty? I sure do.
Tell me about Pat Doherty.
Oh, Pat Doherty was a great guy. In fact, he's still in baseball.
That's right.
Yeah, he's still in baseball. And he's a scout. He's a scout for the Montreal Expos, the last I knew.
That's right.
And, oh, yeah. Yeah, I got to meet his wife and family. And he was a teacher, a coach in a college.
Mm-hmm.
That was in Indian Hills College. Indian Hills, and he was a coach there, and then he summertime he went to work for the Expos coaching.
General manager for 3 years. Then what made you change your mind and get out of the general managership?
Well, I was kind of forced into it. I had an uncle and an aunt. Both of them were teachers, and they had retired and were living in Kissimmee. And they both ended up in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to take care of them because they had one son that had died, and this other boy, that they had, he went to college, but he didn't take care of him any after he got out of college. So I had to do all the running, and I couldn't do that and do justification to Montreal. So I had to give it up and just take care of them.
How long were you general manager?
3 years.
3 years. What kind of teams did Montreal send to you?
They sent us good teams. Good teams. We had some good ball players. We had I can remember one ball player that we got from Seattle. Oh gosh, what was his name? And he was a diabetic. I remember that. And he was a pitcher, and he was a good one.
Right.
And he ended up going to Seattle.
Was a guy named Razor Shines on your team?
Shines?
Yes.
Baseman.
Right.
Black boy.
Right.
Yeah. Razor Shines, yeah. They all called him Shine. Hey, Shine. Oh, yeah, big boy.
Good player?
He was a big boy.
Yes. Was he a good player?
Oh, yes, he's a good player. He was a good first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dietrich was a very good friend, ended up being a very close friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I stuck pretty close to him. He was in the office in Jamestown. Jim Fanning was one of the greatest guys I ever knew. Yeah. In fact, I was in the insurance business as well as being in baseball.
Right.
I was with the Equitable Life.
Mm-hmm.
I sold insurance to Jim.
Okay.
And he, to my knowledge, he still got it. Johnny Ackerman was a catcher for Jamestown. In fact, I played against him in the first game in that ballpark, which was in 1941. Yeah.
Did you play in the Pony League?
Yeah.
What position did you play again?
Second base.
So you remember the crowds in Jamestown?
Oh, remember the crowds. We used to have the best crowds in the whole league.
Yeah.
We had a record-breaking crowd that one year, which one set of games we had over 5,000 patrons. One of the greatest guys I ever knew in Jamestown was the sports writer for the newspaper.
Frank Hyde?
Oh, Frank Hyde. What a guy. What a guy. He at one time was a wrestler.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. He was a wrestler. And a good one. But he ended up being the sports writer for the Jamestown, what the heck was the name of that paper?
Post-Journal.
Post-Journal.
Mm-hmm. And he was a big baseball fan.
Oh, he sure was. And he never missed a game. He was to every game that the Expos had.
Well, I got to tell you, this has been really terrific to have a chance to talk to you.
Well, it's been great to talk to you.